politics sometimes seeps in and it's dirty. Now, I'm going to give you an example. In 2018, there's a city in America that is dependent on Russian oil and mainly gas, the heating of their homes. And that city is Boston. And you say, well, why? Well, in 2018, they thought they're going to go green, green, green. Ed Murkey, Elizabeth Warren, their hardcore left went in there and said, hey, we will not take any fossil fuels from anybody in the States. Well, guess where we'll take them? We'll take them from Russia. The problem with that is now their mercy is on Russia, and Russia's in the middle of a war. It could be very costly in the winter, and people could maybe have no heated homes, or the cost is being driven up. And even in the US, our shipments, LNG, one of the biggest out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, ships out of there and is now going to Europe because of the war. And we're supplying all of Europe with their gas, liquefied gas that's sent over there. But at the same time, if we're sending it over there, that means our prices have to go up. Because if we're going to feed Europe, we're taking our liquefied gas out of our own pockets to help Europe. Now you say they're our friends. Well, for our friends, it costs your money. But the politics could be dirty. And you see, if you get senators in there that are too far left or too far right, you get a crazy recipe. If you go back to World War II, how did it start? Were we innocently attacked by the Japanese? No. Roosevelt cut off the Japanese bank accounts. When they did that, it was almost an act of war, and we were selling them the most oil. So we told them, hey, we don't want you to fight with China. We're doing business with them. As time went on, Roosevelt then shut them off from oil. Now, all their oil, they're an island. The Middle East wasn't developed yet, so all their oil was coming from America. So once we shut them off, they were really pissed off, and then we got attacked. So I'm not saying anybody deserves to die and get attacked, but clearly we weren't completely innocent in World War II. Now let's speed up to Russia. We're telling Russia, we don't want you here, we don't want you there. We're playing the world cop. Ukraine was originally part of Russia. It faces toward Moscow. So this guy said, if you go into Ukraine, even though they're an independent country, I'm going to war with you. And it looks like our politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, have been feeding at the trough. And there's been a lot of dirty stuff going on inside of Ukraine. Now, Russia goes in, starts war with them, but it creates a problem for the rest of the global economy. Why? Because remember, most of the Middle East gets all of their wheat and their bread. Where do they get it from? They get it from Russia and Ukraine, because that's the breadbasket of the country, of the global economy. It's Ukraine, and you combine Russia. And then they are also 10% of corn. You say, well, what's the big deal? Well, a lot of our gasoline has corn ethanol, right? So if we're putting corn in that, if there's less corn, what happens? Our fuel prices are going to go up. All this war stuff, although it may be good for some parts of the business, it's bad for other parts of the economy. And that's why we're seeing food prices like eggs up 100%. We're seeing poultry, meat, chicken, all up 40, 50%. Now, some of it will come down a little bit, but the problem is, we'll have to get it to other places. Like you go to Brazil, they have a lot of natural resources, they have a lot of oil, a lot of gas. But isn't it interesting, we're saying no fossil fuels in America, but yet we're shipping them all over to Europe. So I think there's a lot of moving parts here, and you gotta pay attention to what's going on.